Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Sideline Junkies proudly presents to you two of its tag team champions of the world, the Gentleman Jack, the big guy KG. We are the Sideline Junkies, and this is a Thursday night throwdown. How you feeling tonight, Jack?
I'm feeling pretty good tonight, man. Weekend's almost here. Everything's good.
Good. I gotta look down here because I gotta make sure I watch the time because we got to get in, we got to get out. So we're gonna get off on this thing. The Midnight Rider and the Boss BJ will join us shortly. But we're gonna start off with a little MLB playoff push. Jack, hit me off, man. I know my Yankees looking good, but I mean, damn, can we win it?
Man, to hell with them Yankees. But I tell you, baseball's coming to the best time of the year. Fall baseball is always the best baseball. You got your pennant races, and then you get your playoff push. I just love fall baseball. The weather, the temperature gets better. The balls start flying. It's going to be something, man. So starting in the American League over here in the AL East, we got the Yankees at 84-62 and the Baltimore Orioles at 83-64. 1.5 games back. That's the tightest race we got in the majors right now. And being at Baltimore and New York, I wouldn't want it any other way. I tell you, it's going to be down to the last game. The Yankees got Boston, Seattle, Oakland, something in the next couple weeks, and then they got 3 games with Baltimore and finished with Pittsburgh. So that Baltimore New York series, I think, is right before the Pittsburgh series that ends the season. May see who's going to be in the lead for this because Baltimore finishes with the Twins for 3. So I'd rather finish with the Pirates than the Twins. Twins are tough. Baltimore's got 6 games with Detroit, New York, and as I said, Minnesota. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. Over in the AL Central, Cleveland's still up there. I tell you, they've been a surprise with me since day one this year. But right now, they hot, man. I think they're 7-3 in their last 10. They don't have too bad a road to finish up. They got Tampa Bay, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Cincy. And then they finish up, though, with a 3-game series with Houston. That could be fun. And Kansas City right behind them, 4.5 games back, which, 4.5 games with 2 weeks left. That's not a lot of time. So, KC, you better get your stuff together. Now is the time if you're deciding to make a move. Same thing with Minnesota. They 6 games back. They kind of fell off. And both of them got some decent opponents coming up to where they can make a move. And then with Houston coming into Cleveland at the end, this here may have a fight in this division. But I wouldn't bank on it. Cleveland, you're my surprise of the year. Congrats to you and great season so far to you guys. Over in the AL West, the Astros done jumped up and are staying up. Astros 77-68 at this point. Seattle's below them 3.5 games at 74-72. Houston would be up much more, but they've had a shaky last 10. They went 4-6 on their last 10 and allowed Seattle to hang there. 3.5 games with 2 weeks left. That's not a tough task to get. So you got Houston's got 7 games with the Angels, 3 games with the Padres, and then they finish off with Cleveland, as I said. Seattle's got 6 games with Texas, 3 games with New York, and then they finish off with Oakland. So, let's see what happens there with 3.5 games difference. I'd really love to see Seattle catch up, but I don't think. That's just because of my dislike for the Houston Astros.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Jack. Didn't Seattle fire their manager like a couple of months ago, about a month or 2 ago? They cleaned house.
I do think so, but I had to check on that before I say yes. Maybe you go ahead and check on that for me while I tighten up the East right here, because I'd like to know the answer to that too. I didn't notice Seattle canned anybody, but
they fired Scott Service.
They did. How long ago was that?
Probably right around the deadline.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely fighting right now.
Yeah, like you fire your manager and you still in the playoff race. That says something.
That sure does. Wow. You learn something every day. That's a big league. So we was just getting ready to get in. We just finished talking about the American League playoff race, wild card race, and now we are on to the National League playoff race, wild card race. In the National League East, the Phillies 88-58, best record in baseball. New York Mets 8 games behind them. It don't matter who Philly has left. I consider Philly having that division locked up. You got 8-game lead with maybe 17, 15 games left. I consider Philly the National League East champs. New York Mets still fighting for the wild card. They got 7 games with Philadelphia, though. Out of the remaining games they got left, 7 are with Philly. And then they got the Nationals, Atlanta, and they finish in Milwaukee. So the Mets got a tough road to the wild card because they are right there on the line. They're not locked up in the wild card or nothing like that. The Mets still have to fight for the wild card, and they got a hard road. Over in the National League Central, it's Milwaukee at 83-62. Then you got the Mets 3 games behind, Cubs 8.5 games behind. So I'm gonna just think the Mets. I'm sorry, my notes are duplicated. It's not the Mets. The Mets are in the East. It's the Cubs. The Cubs are 8 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers. Excuse me. First time using this app, I got a little of a double typo in there. It's the Chicago Cubs, 75-71, 8.5 back. The Milwaukee has 7 games against Arizona. They got Philly, Pittsburgh, and they finish with the Mets. Chicago's got Colorado, Oakland, Washington, Philadelphia, and finished with a 3-game series with Cincinnati. So the Cubbies, they're 5 out on the wild card right now, and 8.5 out of the division, which they're not going to get the division. I already got that written down. That's Milwaukee's division. So the Cubbies got some games to win to try to get up in this wild card mix. Over in the West, which is one of my favorite National League divisions to watch because I think they got so many good teams there with LA, Arizona, and San Diego. The Dodgers are currently 87-59. Arizona 82-64, 5 games back of the Dodgers, as the San Diego Padres are 5 games back as well. 5 games with 2 weeks left. That's right on the edge of the number I'd want it to be. They got some work to do. The Dodgers got Atlanta, Miami, and San Diego, and finish the season. They have 6 games with Colorado Rockies. If I had somebody I'd want to play when I need wins, I'd want Colorado Rockies to come to town. So I don't know if Arizona and San Diego is going to catch up, but they are the top 2 wild card contenders right now. So all they got to do is battle to hold that wild card, I think. And Arizona, they got 7 with the Brewers, Colorado, San Francisco, and they finish San Francisco, Arizona play each other to end the year. So that may see who gets the first and second wild card out of it. The wild card in the National League, Arizona's got 2 games up, San Diego, and then the New York Mets are right there on the line. Atlanta's 1 out. Chicago Cubs are 5 out. Anybody else more than that, I'm not worried about them. So we'll do that. And then wild card in the American League, Baltimore 4.5 up, KC 1.5 up, Minnesota's right there holding the line. Detroit 3.5 back, Boston 4 back, Seattle 4 back. I think the AL wild card race is going to be pretty good too. So I just like to see some good battles to see people get into the playoffs. And I think the wild card in the AL is going to be the tightest. Got anything to add to this, Ben?
Sure. I think you're being very deleterious with your thoughts of people getting into the wild card. We got 16 games left. So
16 games.
So I'm not expecting a miracle run. So I do agree with you where I think the American League, I think I go to Detroit at 3.5. And I think anything beyond that 3.5, maybe Boston at 4 or Seattle.
That's what I got. Boston, Seattle at 4.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I can see that. I don't I think that's kind of more of a Lloyd Christmas. So you saying there's a chance, then them actually have a real chance.
Correct.
In the NL, I think it can get jumbled up. I think the Mets and the Braves, I don't know if they play or not, but if they do, that'd be a good way to settle that out. But I think I think it's Arizona, San Diego, New York, and Atlanta fighting for 3 spots.
Mets,
I don't think
Braves,
the Cubbies.
Mets Braves do play 3. I'm sorry, Ben.
Okay.
Mets Braves do play 3.
Okay.
In the last 2 weeks, 3 games.
Okay. So yeah, so that's where I would see that. That's where I would sit on this. I think it's a 4-team race for 3 spots, and I mean we can be generous and we can go add those bottom 3: Tigers, Red Sox, and Mariners. I just think one of those. I think 2 of those are going to just fall off by nature. I think the Tigers just have pitching. They have their young guys, so I think they'd be scary. I think the Twins and everybody else are going to try to do everything they can so that you don't have to face those 2 young arms in Detroit. So that's pretty much all I have. You did a great job breaking this down, man.
Yeah, anybody. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do just think the divisions are set. I think it's Philly, LA, and the Brewers in the West. I mean, in the National League. I think the Orioles and the Yankees might have a little tussle because I think that's a 1.5 game league.
Yeah,
so
that'll be
a battle. And I think the loser of that becomes the top wild card team.
True.
It's a line that Jack used when he said about the teams. He said they holding the line. Now, the first thing I thought of was Toto. Hold the line. Love isn't always on time. And that's what it basically is, because the playoffs are not always on time, but you gotta hold that line. This is where you make your bones at, because it's playoff baseball, even though the playoffs haven't started yet. So you still gotta win games. And for the teams that are already up, you gotta win games to put space in between everybody else. It's tough, man. But geez.
Yeah, no, I think anybody that's more than 3 games out doesn't really have a shot, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, because of matchups and because you play in the right team, you can make up some ground. I just think it's real difficult, but like I said, it's possible. Anything is possible.
That's true.
Well, let me ask one final question to you, gentlemen, because this would be more your expertise than mine. Isn't this around the time where you call up some guys from AAA and AA to play? Maybe going into the playoffs. They may not make the playoff roster, but you call up some young guys, maybe a young arm or 2, to give the wily vets a little rest going into the playoffs. Or is that's something you would do if you're out of the playoffs?
Well, that rule has changed. I think the most you can go up to is either 26 or 28. I can't remember the exact number, but you don't have the same 40-man roster going into August or going into September like you used to back in the day. So that's one of the changes they made. Part of the reason was for competitive balance, because you just want a team like the Marlins throwing out like 9 guys nobody's ever heard of, pissing off the grounds crew because they tell them about, this team sucks. So that's just one of those things, man. You got the reference.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be either that or Field of Dreams. I said Field of Dreams this week, but that either Major League or Field of Dreams might be the movie of choice tonight.
Got you. But I think that's it, man.
Okay. Because we don't have a whole lot of time, so a lot of my questions will be off air, because I don't understand the rule change, but I never understood how it worked anyway. So
basically, the way it was back in the day is you could have up to 40 people on the roster. A lot of your playoff teams would probably call up like 5 or 6 kids that are right on the cusp, and if somebody flashed or you got an injury, that kid that was right there, that's probably going to be your next guy, he'd get some playing time. Like we had the one year where we had us a 17-year-old Miguel Cabrera playing for the Marlins. Ended up in the playoffs. I don't know if they won that series or not. I don't remember who they played in the World Series. But they played somebody. I don't know. So, yeah.
All right. Next up, Emmanuel Forbes out 4 to 6 weeks with is it a broken thumb or I know it's a thumb, but what is it?
It's
Is
a
it
UCL.
broken?
No, it's a UC. He basically, I guess, he tore his UCL in his thumb. I didn't know you had a UCL in your thumb, but I guess you do. I don't know if it's really a UCL in your thumb or not. Even though this sounds kind of close to that thing where Stan Humphrey's blood couldn't clot. So I don't know which one it is.
I'm gonna say something.
Oh, Jackson on mute. Jackson on mute.
Thank you, fellas. I was after that game last week. The only thing that you heard is his feelings. Now, when I saw that he was out with injury, I just started laughing.
Well, I was going to ask the question: is it really a loss? I mean, I'm not jumping on the kid. I'm not piling on the kid. He has to be retaught technique. He has to be taught technique to play at this level because the technique he's using now is ass. Is this really a bad thing for him or the team? Either or, being out 4 to 6 weeks, because I think you can reprogram him in them 4 to 6 weeks. Ain't nothing wrong with his feet. Ain't nothing wrong with his brain. He can still get in the classroom and still learn. And still get them repetitions with the feet.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you. I think it's a head issue. I think he's so lost in his head right now. He's got the NFL version of the yips. And I just think he's in a spot where he's lost and he doesn't know how to get out of it. He doesn't have confidence. If you look at that play where he got the 2 penalties, he had no confidence in what he was doing, in his feet, in his back pedal, any of that. You don't just grab somebody and then, you just can't do that. So I think that's where the issue was.
Can you really call it the yips? I mean, okay. If it's the yips, if it is, I mean, it's many ways to bust out of a slump. You know, you got slump busters. You know, you can go get a pair of undergarments and wear those and get yourself out of it.
The rose goes in the front.
Yes. You can get your pair of those and get yourself out of the slump. Or you can go get you a slump buster and get out of the slump. But if it's mental, bro, I need you to get in the classroom. I need you to, what the kids say, lock in.
He don't have any confidence.
But in order to get your confidence, you know what you got to do? If they've broken you down to you're nothing, you got to start building yourself back up. You have to have the confidence that, yes, I can play at this level. They drafted me for a reason. But you also have to know to yourself that NFL stands for what did Jerry Glanville say? Not for long.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to do what I have to do to get better. Sometimes you got to ask questions. What can I do to be better? What can I do to improve myself? And coaches, that's what coaches are for. Come in, let me talk to you. And some coaches respect you more when you go into the office and you sit down and say, all right, I need to know what I need to do. And they lay it all out for you. Now, if they lay it all out for you, you spurn and you go do whatever, they're not going to help you. But if they see you at least trying to get this done, they're going to ride with you. They're going to ride you to get it done, but they're going to ride with you as well. Maybe that's what he needs. And I think Dan Quinn and Joe Witt are those type of guys where if you show that you want to get better, they're going to do everything they can to give you the tools, and he needs the intangibles to be better.
That's interesting, KG. I like where your head's at. But I don't know, buddy.
You don't see it happening?
I just don't. My bad. I just don't see it, and the reason I don't see it is there's only one man that can save him.
Yeah. You are DJ? You are DJ for the podcast?
You saying Joe Hendry the only one that can save him? Jeez.
That's the only man that can save him.
Oh my goodness. See, I was going different.
You was gonna do the Bo Dallas?
No, I was gonna say, he needs to get up every morning And he needs to understand. He needs to wake up like I wake up every morning. Every morning, my alarm goes off.
Right now is all we got. You know what I'm talking about? The greatest
what I
opportunity in
said
the world
this
is
morning.
found in today. You understand that? We don't even know what yesterday got for us. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's already gone. Tomorrow, too far away. What about right now? What about right now? Huh? Would you give it all up for me right now? I got you. Huh? Let's go then.
Every morning.
Real quick, because we got to move off of this. We got 6 minutes left. We sticking to this
Oh, we're
time
doing
slot
8.
tonight.
My bad.
So here's the thing, right? On the Forbes, you can't, and I was saying this on the show the other day, you can't change somebody's foundation and then expect them to be a completely different type of player. Whatever they drafted him for, the Rivera era, that wasn't his style of play. And I've said this time and time again. Sometimes where you're drafted at is your downfall. And for Chase Young and Emmanuel Forbes, unless they can fix him, this is kind of the Markel Fultz situation. Let's change his jump shot all of a sudden. Let's change his jump shot. He gets to the NBA. It's been working. It got him through college. It got him drafted high. Let's change his jump shot. And I don't blame the kid, but they have to see if they can fix how he plays back to what he plays. It might be already too late, if that makes sense.
Agreed. We'll focus more on that come Sunday. Let's get to this game real quick because the Buffalo Bills face the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Miami gets a 2.5 favor. Over under is 48.5. That's not the right. Well, we do have buy Fort Mose discount maniacs. Make sure you get yourself a bottle, please. All lines are brought to you by FanDuel. Boss BJ. Let's get it going. What you got? This your team, man. It's your boys.
Yeah, I hate the short week. I really do. I think Josh Allen is 7-0 on Thursday nights. I believe Mike McDaniel 7-1. Something got to give. That they didn't give the Dolphins the full 3. And it's a night game. I'm rolling with my boys tonight. I think it's going to be one of those old NFC East showdowns. I don't think this is going over the 48.5. I think this is going to be 17-21, one of those type games where somebody has to do something at the last minute on the last type of drive to get somebody in field goal range to win this game. I don't think this is going to be back and forth, up and down the field. I'd be surprised if it is. These teams know each other too well, know what they want to do.
Midnight Rider.
I think Miami is going to put on display a new weapon today. Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. I know Wilson is the first guy, but I think if they're honest with themselves, they got to let this kid, Jalen Wright, the rookie they drafted, come out and show. Plus, I'm playing him in like 2 leagues, so it's kind of like my shot in the dark, man. Go ahead, big guy. Sorry. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I always enjoy a Buffalo Miami game. Like BJ said, they know each other too well, so it's always a good game to watch. It's almost like a rivalry game, I feel. But Miami, I think Miami comes into this game and the offense is going to continue to click, and I just don't think Buffalo is going to be able to catch up to them tonight. I think it's going to be some points scored, and Buffalo's going to start 0-2. Miami Dolphins pick for me.
And I'm sorry, I forgot my line. So it's Miami. I'm taking the -2, and I'm doing the over.
Okay. I'm taking Buffalo in this one. I'm taking the under on it. No, let me rephrase that. Go with my gut. I'm taking the over. I think this is going to be an old AFC.
I'll take the over, too.
It's going to be an old AFC East matchup. I'm talking Dan Marino versus Jim Kelly type thing because Tua going to want to show that he's the man, and Josh Allen going to continue. Buffalo starts off 2-0. They're going to come out the gates hot. But it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I'm going to say 38-31 Buffalo.
When we get out of here, let's pay attention to the
one more
last
thing.
minute inactives. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One more thing. This is where Buffalo can show that having multiple weapons is going to be key for them, because you can't have Jalen Ramsey everywhere, right? And he's not the Jalen Ramsey of a couple years ago, but he still can make plays. But like I said, if you got to figure out 5 or 6 guys, and you don't really know where it's going, and you can't key on one guy, it makes a big difference. You can't just go to Stephon Diggs and double team him and take away the offense now. So Miami hasn't seen this Buffalo, and that's all I got.
I think tight end play is going to be important tonight too. So keep an eye on them tight ends.
Yeah, agreed. JoJo says she got Miami.
What's up, JoJo?
All right.
I'm going to have to talk to JoJo.
We need to get her on Sunday. She could be our Packers.
We just speaking the truth, BJ.
Yeah, man, it's truth.
I don't say that the Bills are gonna fall off the face of the earth this year. They've started out slow before last season, and I'm not concerned about Buffalo. I just don't think they're gonna start out 1-1.
Well, they already 1-0. They beat Arizona.
Oh, that's right. They won their first game. That's right. I said 0-2, didn't I?
I think they will continue on.
That's right. Yeah, they
Jack,
ended up winning.
Jack trying to curse my boys. That's what it is.
JoJo said Bills ain't seen Miami defense as well. And hey, Jack, I think the Bills are going to be timing up. I don't think it's going to be too much defense shown in this game. I'm sorry. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, Jalen Waddle at least gets 2 touchdown catches. Final thoughts before we run up out of here, fellas, because we got to run out the door.
I don't have anything. Let's just go ahead and go.
All right.
Neither do I. Another Thursday night in the books. Thanks for joining us. Sorry I'm late.
It's all good. Thank you for joining us. Go enjoy some football. I have to go get a practice in before Miami takes on Notre Dame in college football 25. You'll hear about it all on the Gridiron Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Until then, that's Gentleman Jack. That's the boss BJ. That's the Midnight Rider down in the corner. One of them corners. I'm the big guy KG. We don't do no overtime. Baby, we are out of here.